So if you didn't watch the flip car series, this is it. Look how beautiful this looks. The owner has brought it back for a couple of small modifications. So he actually contacted me and said, hey, the car feels almost like it's holding back. It doesn't feel quite as loud and as raw as the AP1 that got damaged. So his old exhaust was a Skunk 2, which was on the AP1 that got crashed. That is gonna definitely sound different than stock. I took it for a drive and said it drives completely fine. It's got plenty of mid-range, plenty of power. It's completely stock. We did put this on the dyno to verify the horsepower. And I said, I think it's because you're not really hearing the car. It's not as engaging. Stock exhaust, stock airbox, you don't get a lot of feedback from these things. So we're gonna do the LHT Airbox mod. I'm gonna show you that here in a second. I'm gonna change the exhaust. I'm gonna show you an exhaust that we've used a few times, very popular exhaust, and it sounds fantastic. This is it, I just unboxed it. This is called the Revel Medallion. It was called the Tanabe Race Medallion. They had a few variations. They had a Race Medallion and a Touring Medallion. And I believe Revel bought the plans or bought the rights to make it, but I've seen these exhausts for years and they do a fantastic job. It looks exactly as nice as the original. Let's get a sound clip with the stock exhaust on first. I'll just start it and give it a few blips. The car is warm. He drove it here, so I don't feel bad revving it. It is up to temperature. And then we'll put it on the lift and show you what this exhaust looks like. So as you hear, it's pretty quiet. So let's take a quick look in the engine. And I'm going to show you what the Airbox mod consists of and talk it about. Look how nice it is under here. If you saw that video, you'll see how much work we went through to recondition this car. And now I see it again. I go, wow, this is such a beautiful car. I really enjoyed building this car. Essentially, we just built it for the price we had in it and sold it for that much. But it's just nice to see it. So I'm gonna remove the lid right here and I'll explain what the Airbox mod consists of. Now the Airbox mod consists of removing this panel right here, and then back here there is a hole. This is a resonance chamber. This is purely for sound. This too. This is the incoming air. This is open to the front. It does draw some of the air from down here behind the bumper. It actually does a very good job. The hood is actually cut out here as opposed to this side for the air to find a nice path into here. The Airbox mod, we're removing this to give this more airflow, more available volume of air. We're changing the filter to a K&N because it's a direct replacement and it flows a little bit more than the factory one, and of course it's able to be cleaned. This hole down here, I'm gonna lift this up to show you, we're gonna block this hole off. The whole reason of this hole is for sound. It's because the average Honda owner buys a brand new car, he doesn't want to hear the intake sound roaring. Honda did a good job at building a resonance chamber into here. All intakes have a resonance chamber and it's purely for reducing the sound. Removing the filter, you can clearly see the opening right here. And again, there is no power in this hole right here. This is purely to reduce the sound. The material that we remove here, we're gonna cut a template and put it into there. A lot of people have given us credit for this Airbox mod. I'll be honest and say I got this idea from some racers at Sebring, and I believe it was the real time guys. They had a thing they were running Integra Type Rs with NSX airboxes, and they had basically hogged out the box to make as much volume as possible. And they explained to me all of those intakes on the market, they all make power with the hood up, but once you close the hood and get the engine bay hot, they would all lose power. So you can use black silicone. I'm using Honda Bond because it's just the stickiest, perfect stuff ever. So the next part is to remove the piece in the lid. Right here, again, another scoop just to direct air over to that chamber. So we're gonna remove that piece and then this diverter piece right here. That's what it's gonna look like. So essentially all we have now is a huge cavern allowing the engine to get as much air as possible but it's sealing it from the outside heat. Just a very, very effective intake. I've tried every intake. I'll try and link one that we did as a heat soak. This is a rough one, but this is what we consider the Airbox mod. Basically just makes it completely open, allows more air around the filter. We have a K&N filter. It's not a brand new one, but it's in good shape. We're going to do a backup test with our Comtech Airbox. We did the engine test with the hood down, just so we could saturate the box with heat and do a back-to-back test. I'll try and link that. It's pretty interesting to see the results. Anyway, let's get this up in the air and look at the exhaust. So we're going to keep the factory header, we're going to keep the factory cat, and the exhaust attaches right here. It's known as a cat back, hence the catalytic converter back. I don't like taking cats off, not just for the smell, but for the sound. These actually do a good job at reducing a lot of the drone and noise. They act like a muffler themselves. Plus, if you're going to remove the cat, then you need to put some kind of cheater on the second or two, and you're going to certainly end up with a check engine light, and then the car suddenly doesn't seem like a nice car anymore, looking at a yellow light. So this has to come off. Remove those 3 bolts here. The exhaust is one piece. We did actually refinish this exhaust. If you watch that series, it still looks great. Essentially refinished the stainless and then ceramic coated the mufflers black and repolished the tips. I want to give this back to him if he wants it, because it looks so nice. I mean, there's not a whole lot of value in a stock exhaust. Most people just give them away, but I don't want to assume it's ours. So let's take this off and we'll put it side by side, the Revel Medallion. Okay, stock exhaust on the ground. You've seen these before. There's a million pictures online, but just in case you haven't, there's a couple of shots right here. So the mufflers, nice large muffler on these with a pretty mellow tip. I hate the exhausts that have like a 7-inch tip, you know, the old Ricer exhaust, and it's all polished stainless. Everything's nice. Large inline resonator, a nice split right here, a nice Y that comes off this and splits into the duals. So the gaskets all come with new bolts, new gasket from your exhaust to the catalytic converter, and new nuts in case your old ones get damaged. But there we go. You're going to assemble this and put it all on the car, put it in pieces. Makes it a little bit easier than taking the old exhaust off. All right, so this one fits pretty well. I did have to tweak the hangers a little bit. These hangers over here are just a single hanger. So many times these get just tweaked in the box, and when you put the exhaust on, it sits one side, or it wants to hang one side more than the other. This is a tool I made probably about 25 years ago, and it was just one of those just need it for right now kind of tool. This is to bend the hangers. I'll give you a quick demonstration. So this fits over here, and it allows you to tweak that hanger. So trying to bend this ever so slightly, or this, very, very difficult. This guy here, you put it on there and you pull it this way ever so slightly. It makes life so much easier. Again, it was one of those quick, hey, I need a tool, and we've used it ever since. We've used it so many times. But this fits nice. The tips look nice in proportion. So many times if the tip is too big, it looks wrong. If the tip is too small, especially on the AP2s, it looks wrong. This fits, and it's nicely in proportion. It clears everywhere. It's got plenty of room around the dry shaft, plenty of room on the brace right there. Definitely a nice piece. So this is what our phone mount looks like. It's going to come in 2 separate pieces. It's going to come with this part right here that essentially is the gripper for the phone. It holds the phone. It's adjustable. This is fantastic. We tried a million. I've done a video on this so many times, but you know, when you put your phone in this, it grips. I mean, it'll even grip the box, but it's fantastic. This is why I'll call our race a race grip. And then we have a MagSafe too. The bracket, we now include it fully assembled because we had a couple of people that couldn't figure out how to put the nut on there. So we're now trying to simplify any of that. It's powder coated steel. It's got a nice satin finish. There is the ball. We put a non-slip grip on there, so when it's on here, it's got a little bit more friction grip. This is the brace, comes with a stainless screw right here. This goes in here. This is what pushes against the dash, and it is adjustable. When we worked on this car, we refinished the seats and used the LHT Phone, which has really tightened this up a ton. Anyway, quick demo. We're gonna remove these two plastic clips right here so we can access the screws. I'm gonna show you how to get these caps off, because I saw a video somebody sent me the other day, and they were scratching the heck out of this hood right here, trying to get that off. So if you use the little tool that we supply with our coil clips or injector clips, it is perfect to go in this little slot right here. If I can get my hand in there, or actually, let me show you on that one. You see that little slot, and it's towards you. You're gonna put, trying to look through the camera, see right there? That way you can just pry this down lightly. See that, without dimpling anything. You can see this screw is exposed now. That little short stubby is the way to go. Now we have our screws out. We're gonna pull this part of the dash forward, so you can use our trim tools, plastic tools. Don't use screwdrivers on here. You don't leave any marks on any of this. You see how nice this is? This is the screw we're gonna access, but this lip is the section we're gonna clear, because our bracket sits in here. I'll give you a quick demo of where the bracket is gonna sit. So this is our bracket. Let me back out. It's gonna sit here. And this lip here with the sponge on it, we're gonna remove that. Now the trick to do this, you want the sharpest knife you can get, a sturdy knife. I'm gonna use George's gang knife right here. Got a nice sharp blade in there. Here's a trick. You don't want to push it in here and put a whole bunch of downforce on here, because that if it breaks loose, you're gonna slip, you're gonna carve up the dash, you're not gonna be able to fix it. What I found is just nice and easy, do the stabbing approach, just nice and easy. I'll do it and then I'm gonna take the camera away, but we're gonna cut up just to be plenty clear. Let's do it starting with this vent here, going downwards, so just level up with this. So this lip here, see that? That's the lip you're gonna remove. So what you're gonna do is push that knife inwards. That way you got some control over it. You're not gonna be putting a ton of pressure and slipping. So just in like that. And you're gonna do a series of cuts until it joins together, and that piece will break away. Airbox is back together. It's dry now. I'm gonna go ahead and start her up, let it come up to temperature so I can get you some sound clips. I'll tell you what, let me turn off the fan. Let me get you a cold start. Mentioned in the beginning of this video about driving engagement, being able to hear the car. It's almost like part of the experience. Also why we like a manual, because it's part of the experience. Automatics are faster, dual clutches are faster, but it's the engagement we're looking for. I'm using the phone holder, by the way, to hold the camera. I want to have the camera pointing this way, and hopefully the microphone will point behind me and you can get a sound clip of this. these exhausts are very mellow under normal driving. That's what we like about these. Unless you're 18 and you want a loud exhaust. So you got a little bit of intake sound now, a little bit of exhaust sound. Something just flew and hit my leg. What is that? I just hit the brake and that just flew up and hit my feet. When something flies under the pedals. A long time ago, I remember I had a can of Coke in the car in England. Hit the brakes, Coke went under the brake, got stuck. I forced the brake down, popped the can, Coke all over the place. But at least I didn't get into an accident. But mellow, hear that? They put the windows up. Still got a nice OEM Plus sound, which is kind of how I described it to the customer. One of the reasons which chose this exhaust was for its OEM Plus kind of sound characteristics, and it's pretty reasonably priced. I've seen them anywhere between $950 and $1,100. Of course, by the time you pay shipping, it might be more than that. But shop around, somebody might give you a deal. I give this customer a good deal because he bought the car from us, and I wanted to take care of our past customers. There is so many exhausts out there on the market, and so many times they'll talk about how much horsepower it makes and all these different marketing claims. Well, there's very little power to be gained in an exhaust unless you're 400 plus with a supercharger or you're turbocharging it. A lot of it is about sound and weight reduction. This one is one of the quietest. I did a little bit of driving around, and there is almost zero drone. Drone is the deep tone, the bassy feeling. Typically happens between 3,000 and 4,000 RPMs. Loading up, the drone goes away, but cruising, partial throttle, that's the annoying tone that people hate. It sounds like a bass speaker in the car. It can shake the interior. It just is the loudest part. It's the hardest thing to get away from. This exhaust, it's one of the best priced bolt-on exhausts that look nice, fit nice, gives you a little bit more sound. Of course, a little sound increase would benefit this. So you will get a little bit more sound if you was to change the cat and put a test pipe on it, or one of the aftermarket high flow cats if it's not loud enough. Either way, it's not going to drone, even with a test pipe or a high flow cat. You're not going to get any drone. So is this a good option for you? Is this something you're looking for? Guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you got some ideas from this. Hopefully this is an exhaust that's on your radar and you got to hear it, and it either convinced you to buy it or it convinced you need something louder. Either way, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the support. Hit the subscribe, hit the share, hit the like. Check out the LHT store. The phone holders are in there, and we'll see you on the next video.